Shalom, Hebrews and Hebrews. Welcome to the channel in this day's reading of 1Kings chapter 5. Man, is it windy as all get out here. We're probably hitting gusts of 50 mile an hour, maybe 60 mile an hour gusts this morning. Making it an interesting day. So anyway, let's get to reading here. Probably we'll see if we go and combine two videos, Old Testament, New Testament, not real sure. Here's a new look for you. Haven't used this view for a video yet. I'm back to normal on my pumping schedule out here in the oil field. Back to my old wells, got my wells back, and so pretty happy and stoked about that. Makes my days a whole lot better when I know my wells and I know what I got going on and I know what I'm doing. All right, 1Kings chapter 5. And Hiram, king of Soar, and Soar is also in King James is Tyre, and it's near Lebanon. So, and Hiram is the name of this king of Soar, sent his servants to Solomon, because he heard that they had anointed Solomon king in place of his father. For Hiram had always loved David. And Solomon sent to Hiram, saying, You know my father David was unable to build a house for the name of Yahweh, his Elohim, because of the battles which were all around him, until Yahweh put them under the soles of his feet. But now Yahweh, my Elohim, has given me rest all around. There is neither adversary nor evil incident. No one is seeking to overthrow him. No one is seeking to destroy the kingdom of Israel at this point. And so Solomon is ready to build a permanent dwelling place for Yahweh. And it's interesting that yesterday in 1 Corinthians chapter 3 that we had read about the dwelling place of Yahweh, the spiritual dwelling place that we are to have. So he's speaking to the king near Tyre or Soar, and saying, hey, I'm gonna need some building materials. Now these cedar trees of Lebanon that we're about to read about, I've done a little bit of research on them, and I dare to say that today in this modern culture, those trees, now that tree is also on the national flag of Lebanon. The cedar tree, it's a very distinct tree, very distinct looking tree. It has a very sweet fragrance and smell. I dare to say that the trees that Solomon is talking about here, that this book is talking about at this time, we don't even know, we wouldn't even begin to understand the magnitude, the magnificence of these trees, how glorious they really were, how big and gigantic. They would probably, I'm going to go out on a limb here, don't hear me wrong, but I'm going out on a limb. And I'm going to say that they probably rival that of our redwoods, our sequoia trees over in the redwood forest of California. Just saying. All right. Verse 4. Or actually, verse 5. And see, I intend to build a house for the name of Yahweh, my Elohim, as Yahweh spoke to my father David, saying, Your son, whom I set on your throne, in your place, he does build the house for my name. So Solomon already knows that it's his job to build a house, build a dwelling place for Yahweh. Yahweh's given him peace, and so since he's not war-stricken, he has the finances, he has the ability, he has the blessings, he has everything to do this job. It's time to get on with it. That's something that we need to take into consideration in our own lives. When Yahweh's blessing us, it's time to do for the kingdom, not do for me, not do for Matt, not do for John, Bob, Bill. It's time to do for the kingdom when you are blessed by Yahweh. And that's something that Jesus was speaking to the rich young ruler about when he told him keep the commands, and when the ruler says, well, I did keep the commands, he said, well, then sell all you have and give to the poor. That wasn't a direct command to become poor yourself. That was a command to, okay, well, bless someone else. You're blessed, bless someone else. Part of our job as we do this daily walk with Messiah, with Yahweh, for Yahweh, is to always increase our position. Always better ourselves if we can. To the point where we are taken care of, now we can bless others. Make sense? I hope so. Verse 6. And now command that they cut down cedars for me from Lebanon, and let my servants be with your servants, and let me pay you wages for your servants, according to whatever you say. For you know there is none among us who knows to cut timber like the Sidonians. Alright? Take my guys. I will send you some help. Teach them how to do what y'all do. This is what you do. This is bartering. This is the bartering system. Alright? I'm gonna send you some workers. Have your workers work with my workers, and let's get this done. This is a great negotiation. Verse 7. It came to be when Hiram heard the words of Solomon that he rejoiced greatly and said, Blessed be Yahweh this day, for he has given David a wise son over this great people. And Hiram sent to Solomon, saying, I have heard that which you sent me. Let me do all you desire concerning the cedar and the cypress logs. Now, cedars and cypress are similar. I learned a little bit about cypress trees when I went down into Arkansas, when I moved to Arkansas, and it just amazed me that these trees grew up out of the water, and they were beautiful, beautiful trees. Verse 8, and Hiram said to Solomon, saying, I have heard that which you sent me. Let me do all you desire concerning the cedar and the cypress logs. Let my servants bring them down from Lebanon to the sea, and then I put them in rafts by sea to the place you direct me, and I shall spread them out there. And then you take them up while you do my desire by giving food from my household. And Hiram gave Solomon cedar and cypress logs, all that he asked for. And Solomon gave Hiram 20,000 cores of wheat as food for his household, and 20 cores of pressed oil. Thus Solomon gave to Hiram year by year. All right, so now Hiram doesn't have to worry about being hungry if there comes a drought or a lack of workers to harvest. Solomon is going to take care of him this way. That's a great barter system. To hell with silver and gold. We'll make sure I got some food. Verse 12, and Yahweh gave Solomon wisdom as he promised him. And there was peace between Hiram and Solomon, and the two of them made a covenant. And King Solomon raised up compulsory labor out of Israel, and the compulsory labor was 30,000 men. And he sent them to Lebanon, 10,000 per new moon by courses. All right. 10,000 by new moon. What we would call here in the oil field a hitch. You know, I've worked different hitches of 12 days on, 4 days off, like I'm working now. I've worked 7 days on, 7 days off. I've worked 14 days on, 14 days off. There's some who go overseas, some who work offshore, whatnot, that work 30 days on, 30 days off. This is what this is speaking of. He's sending men to work for 30 days at a time, and then they come home, and then another. Before they come home, of course, they're relieved, and then a new set of workers are there, and these guys come home. It's a way of working your men without working them to death. So 10,000 at a time. And they were 1 new moon in Lebanon and 2 new moons at home. Sweet. So he's got them where they're working 30 days on, 60 days off. Make sense? And Adoniram was over the compulsory labor. And Solomon had 70,000 bearing burdens, and 80,000 hewing stone in the mountains. All right, so here's a way to make some extra money. You go work in the forest of Lebanon for 30 days, and you come home for 60 days. During that 60 days, hey, maybe you go work in the rock quarries for 30 days. And you still get 30 days off, or you get 15 days off, or whatever the case may be. Either way, he's working his workers as workers, not as slaves. And Solomon had 70,000 bearing burdens and 80,000 hewing stone in the mountains, besides 3,300 from the chiefs of Solomon's deputies who were over the work, those ruling over the people who labored in the work. And the king commanded, and they brought large stones, precious stones, to lay the foundation of the house with hewn stones. Hewn stones is just cut to a specific specification. Maybe 12 by 12 by 12 blocks of stone. And I'm sure this stone is beautiful granite. And Solomon's builders and Hiram's builders and the men of Gebel did hew and prepare timber and stones to build the house. So you've got captains. So the first time we're seeing Israel not being basic slaves to their master. And they're learning a trade. They're learning a specific skill, if not a couple of different sets of specific skills. It never hurts in life to know more than one trade. Like myself, I'm accustomed to drilling into the earth. I know how to get the oil out. I also know how to do carpentry. I know how to do electrical work. I know how to operate heavy machinery. I can drive a truck. I can work cattle. All these things I've done in my lifetime. I'm no master of none, but I have a working knowledge that if this field crumbles and falls apart and there's no work in the oil field, I can go and do something else and not be lost in what I'm doing. It's a backup plan for my backup plan for my backup plan, if that makes sense. We should all have that, you know. And so this is where we're beginning to see this, and we haven't seen this in Scripture up until now. And so that's part of Solomon's wisdom coming into play. And it apparently sets the standard for what we even operate in today. You know, like I said, I've worked different jobs here in the oil field where we work 7 days on, 7 days off, 14 days on, 14 days off. I haven't never worked a 30 on and 30 off. I just haven't been in that position for that company. Each company's operate a little different. I've worked for bosses that say 7 days on is plenty for any worker to be efficient in what they're doing. Beyond 7 days straight, you begin to wear out and your mind begins to wander. I disagree, but you know, that's just the way some bosses are. I've had some bosses that say 7 days is too much. Now, what's Yahweh say? 6 days shalt thou labor, and the 7th day rest. I'm very positive that in this 30 days that they're working, they work 6 days and they get a day of rest. They keep the Sabbath. I'm very certain of that because of who the Israelites are. All right. Let's see, 14 minutes in, we're going to call this video, y'all be blessed, be encouraged, and catch me on the New Testament video.